Hello and welcome, my friends. Today I have a very special yin yoga flow class just for runners and hikers and people who just like to use their legs in the mountains, honestly. So let's all meet on the mat in easy pose or sukhasana. It's basically just a seated position with your legs crossed in front of you. You can find whatever's comfortable for your feet or ankles right now. If your knees have a hard time reaching the floor, then that's okay. Just put some blocks or pillows or something underneath. That way you can get nice and comfortable without straining too much. Now let's take a deep breath in, lifting your chest all the way up to the ceiling, filling your body cavity with air, expanding as much as possible, and release, letting it all out and bringing your shoulder blades together and down your spine. Take a few more deep breaths like this on your own, at your own pace, finding a nice rhythm, focusing on slowly filling your lungs and slowly letting it all out. Slowly come back to a normal breathing pattern and we'll rest here for a moment. We'll continue with another pranayama or breathing exercise, alternate nostril breathing, nadi shodhana. And we'll do this by using our right hand to control the airflow in our nostrils. So lift your right hand up towards your nose, facing your palm towards your face, and exhale completely, letting all the air out of your lungs. Now use your right thumb to close your right nostril and inhale through your left nostril, breathing in completely until your lungs are full. Now close your left nostril with your ring finger and hold for 4 seconds. Now release your right thumb from your right nostril and exhale through the right side completely until you have let everything out. Inhale through the right nostril, filling your lungs completely again. Close your nostril with your right thumb and hold for 4 seconds. Open your left nostril with your ring finger and exhale completely. And that completes one round of alternate nostril breathing. So you can go ahead and do that on your own for a few rounds, basically just guiding the air one nostril at a time and then using your fingers to block the passageways. So continue this for 4 to 6 more cycles and then continue from there. The next time that you are exhaling through your left nostril, complete your round and then put both of your hands on your knees and just rest here, breathing normally for a little bit. On your next inhale, lift your chest up towards the ceiling and then exhale, walking your hands back on the floor behind you, palms facing down and your fingertips facing your body. Go back as far as is comfortable for you. Maybe shift around and find what feels good. We're going to stretch our wrists here by lifting our chest up towards the ceiling every time we take a deep breath in. Breathe slowly here, taking deep breaths, allowing your body to show you where your limit is. You don't need to push it, just find what feels really good. There shouldn't be any pain here. And breathe here for a few moments. Now inhale, lengthening your spine, opening your chest towards the front of your mat, and exhale, walk your hands forward to in front of your body, hinging at your hips. Inhale, lengthen your spine here. And exhale, walk your hands out further, round your spine, and gaze at the floor, or close your eyes here, and take a few deep breaths. On your next inhalation, walk your hands back until you're sitting upright, and we'll come back into our original easy pose, resting our hands in our laps for a few normal breaths. Now taking a deep breath in, expand the chest and the shoulders forward, and exhale, take the belly in and move the spine in an outward motion while curving the back, pulling your back towards the back of your mat. Inhale, loosen the chest and neck. Exhale, pull the belly in even further and lift your pelvis upwards towards your belly. Take a deep breath here. And on the exhale, push your spine further back, lifting your pelvis to meet your belly button. Inhale, lifting your chest towards the ceiling, pulling your belly button towards the front of your mat, creating an arch in your back. Exhale, going a little bit deeper towards the front of your body. Now with each breath, you'll be inhaling, lifting your chest towards the ceiling, pulling your belly button to the front of the mat, and then exhaling, doing the opposite, sending your spine to the back of your mat and lifting your pelvis towards your belly button. And you can do this for a few deep, slow breaths, taking your time, breathing in and out. And as you continue, start to bring a little bit of a circular motion to this. So that way it's like you're stirring a pot with your spine, circling your hips, creating a nice sphere with your body. Always inhaling to expand your chest forward and exhaling to curve your spine and come inward with your body. Come back to stillness in the center and take a deep breath in, lengthening your spine towards the ceiling, and exhale, bringing your shoulder blades together and down your spine. Breathe here normally for a moment. And on your next inhalation, lift your chest forward towards the front of your mat and walk your hands out in front of you. Exhale, hinging at the hips, sinking deeper into the pose and finding that spot where you get a nice back and hip stretch. If it's hard for your head to reach the floor, then you can put a block underneath your forehead, so that way you can rest here for a little bit and you're not straining. Take a few deep breaths here, focusing on filling your chest with air when you inhale, and then exhale, sinking deeper into the pose, closing the gap between your body and the floor. After a few deep breaths, inhale and walk your hands back towards your body, coming into an upright position. Now take a deep breath in and lift your chest towards the ceiling, raising your arms overhead, palms facing each other. And exhale, drop your right hand down to your side and reach your left hand up and over, turning your palm towards the floor. Take another deep breath in, lifting your chest. And when you exhale, open your left shoulder towards the ceiling and turn your gaze upwards towards the ceiling. Take a few deep breaths like that here, expanding your chest and turning more towards the ceiling with each inhale and exhale. On your next inhale, lift both of your arms up towards the ceiling again, lengthening your spine, and then exhale and do the same on the opposite side. Walk your left hand out, reaching your right arm all the way up towards the ceiling and over your ear, turning the palm facing the ground. Inhale, lift your chest, filling that chest cavity with air. Exhale, turning your right shoulder towards the ceiling, opening up, turning your gaze upwards. And take a few deep breaths like that here, constantly expanding and opening. On your next inhale, bring your hands back up overhead and exhale, bringing palms to heart center, letting all the air out. Now go ahead and grab 2 blocks and we're going to put them behind us. We'll put one block in parallel with our spine so that way it can just nestle between our shoulder blades. And then the other block will be perpendicular to that and it will be basically a pillow for our head. So set the first block maybe a foot behind you and start to slowly roll yourself back until you feel that block between your shoulder blades. And you can adjust it here. Then grab the other block and put it underneath your head. You can decide how high you want your head to be, but I like to have it on the lowest level so that way I have a little bit of an arch in my spine. You can either leave your legs like this, cross-legged, and that will give you a nice hip stretch, or you can uncross them and slowly walk your feet forward so that way they're fully extended in front of you. Now release your hands to the side, palms facing up, and take a deep breath in, expanding your chest, filling it and arching it slightly towards the ceiling. And exhale, just melting into these blocks and into this nice back stretch. And breathe normally and gently here. We'll stay here for a couple of minutes. And when you're ready, slowly roll yourself back up to a seated position using your arms to support you as you come up. Taking a deep breath in, lift your spine up towards the ceiling, and exhale, bringing your shoulder blades together and down your spine. Slowly taking in deep breaths here with this nice erect spine. Begin to draw circles on the ceiling with the top of your head, very small ones, just rotating your head around your spine a little bit. Deepen your breath, and as you do, widen the circles that you're making with your head. And continue to widen the circles like this until you find the widest circle you can make without it being uncomfortable. We don't want to hurt your neck or strain here. Just move it around in a way that it isn't used to during the day. After a few rotations, change directions and do it the other way, beginning with small circles and then working your way bigger and bigger as you go. And come back to center with a nice straight spine, creating length in the back of your neck, lifting your chest on the inhale, and bringing your shoulder blades together and down your back on the exhale. Now find your way into a squatted position or garland pose, malasana. We're going to widen our feet a little bit more than our hips, opening our knees outward past our hips and pulling our outer knees towards the back of the room as much as we can. Take a deep breath in, lifting your chest, and exhale your hands into prayer pose at your chest, using your elbows to push your knees open further. If your heels don't reach the ground, that's okay. This is a very deep stretch. To take the strain off of the stretch, you can go ahead and put a block under your seat at whatever height is comfortable for you. And focus on your breath. Just take deep, slow breaths with each inhalation, lifting your chest up towards the ceiling to the front of the mat. And then each exhalation, pushing gently against your knees, opening your hips a little bit more. This shouldn't hurt. This should be a really nice deep stretch. So find that limit within your own body and breathe deeply here for a little bit. And when you're ready, go ahead and release the posture and find yourself in a standing position at the top of your mat in mountain pose. Now take a deep breath in, lifting your chest towards the ceiling. And exhale, bringing your shoulder blades together and down your spine. Another inhalation, lifting your chest up, filling your chest cavity with air. And exhale, slightly pushing your hip joints forward with your hands just at your side, palms facing forward. Take another deep breath here, focusing on expanding your chest with each inhalation and bringing your shoulder blades together with each exhalation. And with a deep inhale, raise your arms up overhead, palms facing together, lifting your chest forward and up. And exhale, forward fold, bringing your hands all the way to the ground and using your core to pull your body towards your thighs. Take a deep breath here. Now inhale, stepping your right foot all the way to the back of the mat, dropping your knee to the ground, lifting your chest forward to the front of the mat, and exhale back into plank pose, where both feet are at the back of your mat and your arms are straight. Inhale and drop your knees, chest, and chin to the floor, bringing your elbows inward towards your body. And exhale here. Inhale, lift your chest up towards the ceiling, dropping your hips to the floor. And exhale, lifting your hips up towards the ceiling, straightening your legs and coming back into downward facing dog. Inhale, step your right foot forward until it is between your two hands on the floor, dropping your left knee to the ground. And exhale, stepping your left foot forward into a standing forward fold, using your core to bring your body towards your legs. Inhale, your arms all the way up overhead until you're in standing, and exhale, bringing your hands to heart center. Take a deep breath here. And we'll do that on the other side. So let's take a deep breath in, lifting our hands up overhead, pushing your hips forward slightly for a tiny little back bend. And exhale, forward fold, hinging at the hips and bringing your fingers all the way down to the ground. Inhale, step your left foot back, dropping your left knee to the ground. Exhale, take your right foot back to meet your left and get into plank pose. Inhale, drop your knees, chest, and chin to the floor, keeping your hips up in the air. And exhale here for a moment. Inhale, lift your chest up towards the ceiling to the front of the room, dropping your hips down to the ground. And exhale, pushing back into downward facing dog, lifting your hips up to the ceiling. Inhale, step your left foot forward, dropping your right knee on the ground. And exhale, bring your right foot up to meet your left into a standing forward fold with your fingertips on the ground and using your core to pull your body towards your legs. Inhale, sweep your arms all the way up overhead until you're in standing, lifting your chest towards the ceiling. And exhale, your palms together at heart center. Release your hands to your sides and breathe slowly here just for a couple of seconds. Now take a deep breath in and lift your hands up overhead towards the ceiling, lifting your chest up to meet your hands. And exhale, forward fold, bringing your fingertips to the ground and using your core to bring your body towards your legs. Inhale, straighten your back and bring your hands to your shins. And exhale, step your feet back into plank pose. Take a deep breath in here. And as you exhale, slowly lower your body towards the ground, keeping your elbows against your body. And before you touch the ground, inhale, lifting your chest up towards the ceiling, dropping your hips down, but not letting your legs touch the ground. And then exhale, push back into downward facing dog. Lift your hips up towards the ceiling and get a nice deep bend in your knees. We're trying to lengthen the spine here, not necessarily stretch the backs of our legs. So lift your hips up towards the ceiling and then take a deep breath in, bringing your chest closer to the mat. Exhale, bringing your shoulder blades together and then up towards your hips, creating space between your ears and your shoulders. Breathe deeply and slowly here, releasing your head and letting your head just sort of dangle with the gravity. Roll your biceps forward to the front of your mat and then outward to the sides of your mat. And notice how that creates a lot of space between your shoulder blades. And we'll breathe here for a little bit. Now take a deep breath in and slowly bring both of your knees down to the mat and rest here in tabletop position. Breathe in, lifting your chest to the front of the mat. Exhale, bring your right foot forward to the front of your mat between your hands. Now, if your hands cannot reach the ground on either side of your right front foot, then you can go ahead and grab some blocks and put one block under each hand at whatever height is needed for you to feel comfortable here. Take a deep breath in and lift your chest forward and up. And exhale, drop your hips a little bit more forward towards your front right heel. And on your next inhale, lift your hands over your head and palms facing together. And exhale, turning your body to the right, bringing your right hand back over your left foot and bringing your left hand forward, stretching to the front of your mat. Take a deep breath in, lifting your chest towards the ceiling. And exhale, turning your body slightly more to the right, deepening this twist. Breathe deeply and slowly here for one big breath. Taking a deep breath in, lift your left hand up overhead, turning the palm to face the ground, and drop your right hand to your back leg, creating a nice back bend here. With each inhalation, lifting your chest up towards the ceiling, and each exhalation, dropping your hips a little bit more towards your right heel at the front of the mat. Breathe deeply and slowly, creating space with each inhalation. On your next inhalation, bring both hands overhead, turning your body to the front of the mat. And exhale, sink your hips a little bit deeper towards your front right heel, and then bring your hands to the floor on either side of your front right foot. Now take your right foot and step it outside of your right hand towards the outside edge of your mat, if you can. Take a deep breath in, lifting your chest forward and up. And now exhale, dropping your body closer to the ground. And you can come onto your elbows here, or you can get a couple blocks and put them under your hands with straight arms. You can put a bolster or pillow underneath here. Find whatever works for you, basically. Now check on your hip joints, make sure that they're both facing the same direction towards the front of the mat. And breathe deeply here, with each inhalation expanding your chest cavity, and each exhalation dropping your hips a little bit lower. If you are exceptionally flexible here and you would like an even deeper stretch, then you can take your right hand, place it on your right knee, and gently push it outward ever so slightly. It's not a super deep stretch. We just want to open that hip a little bit. And then lifting your chest towards the ceiling, twist your body towards the right side of your mat, and breathe deeply here. If you took the twisted variation, then come back to center. And we'll all take a deep breath in, lifting our chest and our hands up overhead. And exhale, bending your left leg, straightening your right leg, and bringing your hips over your left foot. Inhale, lift your chest forward towards the front of your mat, and exhale, walking your hands along your front straight leg as far as you can. Use your core to bring your body towards your straightened front leg. And you can put your hands on blocks on either side of your leg, wherever is comfortable for you and is your deepest stretch. Wherever is your limit, find that, and then take a deep breath in, expanding your chest forward to the front of the mat. And exhale, pulling yourself slightly closer to your leg. Take a few deep, slow breaths here. Again, expanding and going deeper into the stretch with each full breath. And now on your next inhalation, bend your right front leg and straighten your left leg, keeping the knee on the ground, lifting your chest forward to the front of your mat. And then exhale, push back into that runner's stretch, bending your left back leg and straightening your front right leg, and folding your body towards your front leg. Again, inhale, bend your right leg and straighten your back leg, dropping your hips towards your right heel, lifting your chest to the front of the mat. Exhale, bringing your hips back over your left foot, straightening your right leg, and dropping your body over that straight leg. And do a few rounds of this in your own pace, taking slow, deep breaths, taking your time to fill up your lungs completely, and following that pace to move through this slowly. And on your next exhalation, take your right foot back to meet your left and push yourself up into downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in this pose, expanding your chest, bringing it closer to your yoga mat, and exhale, lifting your hips up towards the ceiling. And now we'll go ahead and do that whole thing on the other side. So inhale, lifting your left leg up slightly behind you, and exhale, bring your left knee towards your nose and gently drop your left foot between your hands on the ground. Drop your right knee to the ground as well and check on the alignment. Make sure that your right hip, your right knee, and your right ankle are in a straight line and your right heel is facing the ceiling. Both hip joints are facing forward, and take a deep breath in, lifting your chest forward and up. And exhale, sinking your hips slightly deeper towards your front left heel. If you need blocks to bring your hands closer to the floor, you can do that now. With each inhalation, expanding your chest to the front of your mat, and each exhalation, dropping your hips slightly lower towards your left front heel. On your next inhalation, raise your arms up overhead and lift your chest towards the ceiling. And exhale, turn your body towards the left, dropping your left hand to be over your back right foot and bringing your right hand forward, stretching to the front of your mat. Inhale, lift your chest up towards the ceiling, and exhale, twist a little bit further so that way you are in a straight line and your body is completely parallel with the side of your mat. And take a few slow, deep breaths here, twisting a little bit deeper with each exhalation. Inhale, lifting your chest and your right arm up overhead, dropping your left hand to your back right leg. And exhale, twisting a little bit deeper into this back bend. Lifting your chest towards the ceiling and creating space on your inner side so that it's not crunching up against your body. Exhale, sinking your hips a little bit deeper. Breathe slowly and deeply here. And release, bringing your body back to face forward and your hands overhead. Walk your hands forward to either side of your front left foot. And bring your left foot to the outside of your left hand towards the edge of your mat. Take a deep breath in, lifting your chest forward and up. And exhale, sinking your body a little closer to the ground, making sure that both of your hip joints are facing the front of your mat towards your left heel. You can use blocks here and put them under your hands so that way you can find whatever stretches here for you, or you can drop your elbows to the ground and really sink deeply into it. Find whatever position you need and breathe deeply here. If you'd like a deeper stretch, then you can take your left hand and place it on your left knee and gently push it outward while lifting your left shoulder and twisting your body open to the left side of your mat. Wherever you have found yourself in this position, then take nice, slow, deep breaths here, and we'll hold it for a few rounds of breathing. If you were in the twisted variation, then bring your body back to center. And we'll all take a deep breath in, lifting our arms up overhead, lifting our chest. And exhale, bending the right leg and straightening the left leg, bringing your hips over our right heel. Drop your body towards your front straight leg, walking your hands forward as far as you can. If you need blocks here, you can grab some blocks and put one under each hand, and then breathe here for a little bit, taking a deep breath in to expand your chest, and exhale, bringing your body closer to your thigh. On your next inhalation, lift your chest and your hands upward, straightening your right leg and bending your left leg deeply. Exhale, sinking your hips towards your front left heel, and bring your hands to the ground. Inhale, lift your chest forward and up, and exhale, push your hips back to over your right heel, straightening your left leg and folding your body towards your thigh. Inhale, drop your hips forward to your left heel, bending your left leg deeply and straightening your right leg. Exhale, pushing your hips back over your right heel, bending your right leg and straightening your left leg. Go through a few rounds like this, using a full, complete, deep breath to guide you moving forward and backward in this low lunge and runner's stretch. And finding stillness at the center, bring both knees together on the floor in tabletop position and your shoulders over your wrists. Your knees are slightly wider than your hips. And take a couple normal breaths here, just finding stillness in this posture. On your next inhalation, drop your stomach towards the ground and lift your hips up towards the ceiling, expanding your chest to the front of your mat, coming into cow pose. Exhale, lifting the back of your spine towards the ceiling and tucking your chin to meet your chest, dropping your hips and pulling them forward towards your chin in the cat pose. Inhale, dropping again into cow pose, lifting your hips up towards the ceiling, expanding your chest forward. Exhale, tucking your hips forward towards your belly button and tucking your chin towards your chest, creating a nice deep stretch in your back for cat pose. And cycle through this a few times on your own, slowly and deeply breathing, letting your breath guide. On your next exhale, come back to tabletop position and find some stillness here. If you have your blocks nearby, go ahead and grab those now and have them handy next to your hands. Drop from tabletop position, drop your elbows to the ground and drop your chin to the ground as well. You can also place your forehead on the ground, whatever feels good to you. Keeping your hips lifting up towards the ceiling and directly over your knees. Expand your chest towards your yoga mat with each inhalation and then sink a little deeper with each exhalation. If you would like an even deeper stretch, then you can put your yoga blocks underneath your elbows, so one under each elbow. And this will allow you to sink a little bit deeper and getting a nice stretch in your triceps. Take a few deep, slow breaths here at your own pace. And release, coming back into tabletop position on your hands and knees. Take a normal breath here, just finding stillness before we begin the next round of things. Now, on your next inhalation, raise your right hand forward, stretching it directly in front of you, and lift your left heel up towards the back of your mat, creating a nice line all the way from your left heel to your right fingertips. And breathe here for a moment. On your next inhalation, reach your right hand forward even more and pull your left foot backwards, creating length in your spine. And exhale, bring your elbow and your knee together under your body, creating a deep curve in your spine. Inhale, lift them forward, straightening them out again, creating length. Exhale, bringing your elbow and your knee together under your body. Do this at your own pace with your own breath. We'll do a couple rounds. On your next exhale, go ahead and release back into tabletop position and take one normal breath here just to find stillness. Now we'll go ahead and do that on the other side. So on your next inhalation, bring your left hand forward, palm facing inward, and lift your right heel towards the back of your mat to create a nice, long, straight line. And breathe here deeply for one complete breath. Now inhale, creating length between this line, reaching your hand forward and your heel completely back. And exhale, bringing your elbow and your knee together underneath your body, deepening that bend in your back. Inhale, expanding outward, creating length between your fingertips and your heel. And exhale, bringing your elbow and your knee together underneath your body. Do a few rounds like this on your own, and then after a couple of rounds, we'll meet back in tabletop position. Finding stillness in tabletop position, take a deep breath here. release. Push back into child's pose. And take a few deep breaths here, expanding your chest with each inhalation and dropping your body closer to your thighs with each exhalation. On your next inhalation, lift your chest up towards the front of your mat, dropping your hips towards your hands on the mat and straightening your legs behind you. Lifting your chest upwards, and exhale, push your hips back into child's pose, letting all the air out and collapsing your body onto your thighs. Again, inhale, lifting your chest forward and up and bringing your hips towards your hands on the mat, straightening your legs behind you. Exhale, pushing back into child's pose. And do this a few more times at your own pace, just breathing slowly and deeply. And the next time you come into child's pose, rest here, taking one complete deep breath in child's pose, with your hands reaching out in front of you and your forehead on the floor. Now slowly walk your hands over to the right side of your mat while keeping your forehead on the floor and everything else exactly the same. Feel a nice deep stretch here, taking a few deep breaths. And release, walking your hands back to center. And then keep going all the way to the left side of your mat. Keeping your forehead on the floor, but reaching to the left side. Create a nice deep stretch and take a few deep breaths here. And release, coming back to center. Now roll your body all the way back until you are lying flat on your back in Savasana. But now we'll take a deep breath in and reach your hands all the way up overhead and scoot your hips a little to the left so that they are on the outer left edge of your mat. And scoot your feet and your hands to the right corners of your mat, creating a nice banana shape. This is called banana pose. And we'll breathe deeply here for a little bit, getting a nice deep stretch on the left side of our body. And release, and let's do the other side, scooting our right hip over to the right side of our mat and our feet and hands over to the left corners of our mat. And take a few deep breaths here. And coming back to center, find a nice straight line with your body. We'll come into Shavasana, dropping your hands down by your hips, palms facing upward. your heels as wide as your mat. Shimmy your shoulder blades together in the back so that we have a nice firm foundation. Then take a deep breath in, lifting your chest up towards the ceiling one more time, expanding it as much as you can. And then exhale, sinking deeper into the floor. Breathe slowly and deeply here, and we'll rest here for a couple of minutes. Begin to deepen your breath. Slowly wiggle your fingers and toes. Rock your hips back and forth. And slowly come onto your side in the fetal position and just rest here for a moment, transitioning from this nice relaxing state to reality off the mat. Using your top arm, push yourself up off the ground into a seated position. Take a deep breath in, lifting your chest and your hands up towards the sky. And exhale, bringing your palms together at heart center. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you liked it. Do me a solid and hit subscribe, and I'll see you next time.